In this episode of shocking 911 abduction calls, a realtor vanishes from a show house, a cab ride turns deadly, a university student is shoved into a car on campus, a brave child fights her abductor, and attackers shoot all surveillance cameras before they leave. Let's dive in. Carl Carter knew something was wrong when his real estate agent wife didn't return from showing a property. Then he started getting weird texts from her number.
911.
Hey, I'm sitting over here. They're looking for a guy here that was involved in the realtor being kidnapped, and this guy looks like him, and he is nervous, and he's out here at the bus stop.
What bus stop?
Green Mountain Drive in Rainwood.
Hold on just a minute.
I mean, it might not be him. He's going into the subway now.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And what color shirt and pants is he wearing?
He's wearing a black shirt and some jean shorts.
49-year-old Beverly Carter told her husband, Carl, that she was going to meet a would-be cash buyer in September 2014 at a repossessed property in the town of Scott, Arkansas. Carl says he was looking for his wife after she failed to return that evening. He found her car, a brown Cadillac with her purse and wallet inside, but no sign of her. Investigators discovered no trace of a crime at the vacant property. The mother of three was also raising an 11-year-old granddaughter after her son had tragically passed away. It seemed as if she had vanished without a trace. But around 1 a.m. the next morning, Carl received 3 text messages in a row from her phone. The first read simply, "Yes." The next said, "My phone's low, the battery's down, and I'll call you whenever I get signal." The final message read, "Oh, I'm out drinking with some friends." The messages were odd since they didn't sound like Beverly had written them, and she wasn't a drinker. Police looked into the couple that was viewing the property, but it turned out they had used aliases. Hundreds of volunteers joined the search, which ended 4 days later when the realtor's body was found in duct tape at the Cabot concrete plant. Investigations led to Aaron Lewis, who had allegedly wanted to hold the estate agent for ransom. He had scouted for an empty house to trap her. Lewis worked at the site where Beverly's body was found. He told reporters after his arrest that he had sought out a rich broker. His wife, Crystal Laurie, promised to testify against him as part of an arrangement that secured her a 30-year prison sentence after she pleaded guilty to first-degree murder and kidnapping in the case. According to a 2-hour text exchange between the couple, they had wanted a married woman, so a husband would be available to pay ransom. One house was deemed unsuitable because it had too many surveillance cameras. The judge also allowed prosecutors to introduce as evidence an email found on Carter's computer that she received on the evening before she disappeared. The email, a request for real estate listings, came from a Google account that investigators linked to Laurie that uses an alias attributed to Lewis, Stephen Adams. Since the court found that deputies had illegally searched Lewis's car and home, they struck evidence, including Beverly's cell phone, which was found in the bedroom, and her hair strands on duct tape in the trunk of the car the accused was driving. The plan had been for Lewis to kidnap Beverly and keep her in an abandoned office building at the concrete plant while they made ransom demands. But the couple was unaware of changes at the plant that would make that plan impossible. With the victim tied up in the trunk of his car and nowhere to go, Lewis was forced to improvise. Laurie told him she didn't want the realtor at their house, but she eventually landed there. The couple kept her bound with duct tape in the bathroom. Laurie was left to guard Beverly with a stun gun, while Lewis returned to the abduction site to retrieve her purse and bank card. But by the time he got to the property, law enforcement authorities were already swarming the area and he had to leave empty-handed. The couple forced Beverly to record a 12-second ransom message begging her husband to cooperate or it could be bad. But Carl wouldn't hear the message until after she was found dead.
Carl, it's Beverly. I just want to let you know I'm okay. I haven't been hurt. Just do what he says and please don't call the police. If you call the police, it could be bad. Just want you to know I love you very much.
Laurie and Lewis decided to abandon the ransom plan and get rid of Beverly instead, fearing that she had already seen Lewis's face and also may have seen Laurie's name on prescription bottles in the bathroom. So they wrapped her head in duct tape and let her suffocate to death while her hands were tied behind her back. Lewis's defense attorney, Bill James, claimed Beverly was never abducted at all and had willingly gone with the couple as part of a sexual hookup. He claimed his client hadn't even been home when Beverly died and suggested she may have died during a consensual sex act with Lori. In his opening statement, he painted the victim as a woman going through a midlife crisis and living secret lives others knew nothing about. With financial and marital problems, James said the realtor started making bad decisions. This wasn't all made up. Carl himself acknowledged that there had been problems in the marriage, admitting on the stand to an affair early on in the couple's marriage and punching his wife once during a drunken altercation. However, he said the couple was on very good terms when she died. Jurors wouldn't believe the defense team's story about Beverly's death and returned an unanimous guilty verdict after less than an hour of deliberations. He was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Lori hoped to shorten her time behind bars in 2020, asking the Arkansas Parole Board to cut her 30-year sentence in half as part of a plea for clemency, which was denied. A new safety device was developed in Beverly Carter's honor to ensure other realtors don't find themselves in the same situation. Here, her son, Carl, explains.
Since losing Mom in the fall of 2014, we've seen these great advances in technology.
When the button is pushed twice, it sends a notification to chosen contacts and prompts for a 911 call.
It's so hard losing my mom, but there is that peace to know that there is good that can come from such a tragedy.
If you're a true 911 fan, don't forget to like this video. Next, she got into the wrong car and was never seen alive again. After a fun night out, 21-year-old Samantha Josephson booked an Uber from the club, but she landed up getting in a different car instead.
Yeah, it's really hard.
911, what's your emergency?
Hi, we were just gonna call to let you know our friend is missing.
So you want to make a missing person report?
Yeah, it hasn't been like 24 hours or anything, but if we could go ahead and do that, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, it don't have to be 24 hours if we report anybody missing.
Oh, I don't know why I thought that.
Oh, no.
Okay, yeah.
What's the address? Where are you located? Is he missing from his address?
We went out in 5 Points last night, and she still hasn't made it home. Her phone's dead. We don't think she, went home with, a guy or anything. We're, actually, worried. So, she missed work this morning.
All right. What is your apartment number?
901.
All right. What is her name?
Samantha Josephson. She goes by Sammy.
Samantha, what's her last name?
Josephson. Josephson.
And how old is she?
21.
She white, black, Hispanic?
She's white with really dark hair. She's Jewish.
You know her her date of birth?
August, someday in August 13th.
And you remember what she was wearing?
She was wearing a bright orange shirt with black pants.
So we got a bright orange shirt and black pants?
Yes.
And how was her hair?
It was straight. It was down at the time. It's about shoulder length, maybe a little longer.
And y'all was at 5 Points, you said? Last seen at 5 Points?
Yes.
Okay, and what is your name? We got that, so we're going to send an officer out there so y'all come make that report, okay?
Okay, thank you so much for the help.
You're welcome, no problem.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Samantha Josephson was getting ready for her last year of law school. She was living with her boyfriend in Pennsylvania, going to parties and having the greatest time of her life. Samantha was going to be a lawyer her parents would be proud of. She spoke with her dad almost daily, and he told her how proud he was to be her father. It seemed like nothing could go wrong, until everything did. It was a beautiful night, and Samantha and her friends decided to enjoy the evening at the 5 Points District in downtown Columbia. After a night of drinks and laughter, Samantha decided it was time to go home. She checked her mobile phone. It was 2 a.m., figuring it was safest to Uber. At exactly 2:09 a.m., Samantha stood outside the Bird Dog bar waiting for her Uber to pull up. Almost immediately, a black Chevrolet pulled up beside her and Samantha got in. Everything seemed normal according to plan until she realized two things. One, this was not her Uber driver, and two, the driver, Nathaniel Rowland, had activated the child locks in the car, trapping Samantha inside. As Rowland turned his head to face Samantha, she immediately knew something was wrong. The next day, Samantha's roommates become worried. It had been more than a half day since they had seen or heard from her. Her cell phone was no longer going through, and her boyfriend knew nothing about her disappearance. Worried that something had gone wrong, the police were called and a search began. Unfortunately, just 14 hours after her disappearance, turkey hunters found her body in a field in Clarendon County. The big question was immediately posed. What had happened between 2 a.m. and 4 p.m. on the same day? How had a wrong Uber car led to the death of this young and promising lawyer? It happened that Samantha had not checked the car's license plate or even had the driver say her name, and as soon as she entered the vehicle, the driver locked her in by activating the child's locks. This way, no matter how hard Samantha tried, she could not get the door open. Seeing that he had gained control over her, Rowland then stabbed Samantha. With a two-handed knife, he went on to stab the 21-year-old over 120 times in several parts of her body. Despite how much blood she had lost, Samantha refused to give up. Instead, she fought against Rowland with all her strength. One of the strikes went through her right hand. But Rowland was also not giving up. He struggled with Samantha, stabbing her so severely in her head that one of the strikes went through her skull. After that, he stabbed her in the face, shoulder, leg, lung, feet, back, torso, and neck until she died in his car. According to authorities, it happened in less than 10 to 20 minutes. Later on, the pathologist who conducted an autopsy on Samantha's body would admit that she couldn't have survived as the extent of her blood loss was unimaginable. Naturally, the human body has over 4 liters of blood, but when her body was found, only 1.3 tablespoons of blood remained. Samantha's death raised so many questions. Why did Rowland murder her with such passion? Who was he, and why was he there at just the right time? After the 21-year-old's body was found, the police immediately began an investigation into her death. At around 3 a.m. the next day, the police found the Impala where Samantha had been murdered. According to reports, Rowland immediately got out of the car and began running before he was quickly captured. The car was seized, and investigators began searching. The result was devastating. Officers found Samantha's phone in the passenger compartment, switched off. They also discovered a container of liquid bleach in the car, plus germicidal wipes and a window cleaner on the car. Rowland was arrested on charges of murder and kidnapping. At the time of his arrest, the 24-year-old had been in possession of marijuana and had failed to stop on police command, all of which could result in a longer prison sentence. The police officer in charge of the case, Columbia Police Chief W.H. Skip Holbrook, said they were heartbroken over the brutal murder.
Our hearts are broken. They're broken. There is nothing tougher than to stand before a family and explain how a loved one was murdered.
As expected, Samantha's death came as a shock. Her father, with whom she had shared a close relationship, could not believe she was gone. He wrote this heartbreaking tribute on Facebook. "It is with tremendous sadness and of a broken heart that I post this. I will miss and love my baby girl for the rest of my life. Samantha is no longer with us, but she will not be forgotten. It is extremely hard to write this and post it, but I love her with all my heart. I could continue to write about her, but it kills me. I sit here and cry while looking at the picture and write this." The president of USC, Harris Pastides, also released a statement sending condolences to the family and advising students to watch out for one another, travel in groups, and always be wary of strangers. The timeline of events was laid out in court. Days before Samantha's death, her boyfriend, Greg Corbishley, said she was quite upset about a family member being sick. He assured her everything would be fine and urged her to enjoy herself. During the trial, video evidence would later show that someone tried to use Samantha's debit card several times and tried to sell Samantha's phone. Additionally, video evidence will later show that this person was Rowland. A friend of Rowland's testified that he had seen blood in the accused's car the next morning while bloody clothes and cleaning products were found behind the friend's house. It appeared that Rowland had attempted to implicate his friend in the crime. Autopsy reports showed that Rowland had stabbed Samantha over 120 times while she struggled to break free from his control. She fought against her captor, screamed, tore at him. The judge eventually sentenced him to life in prison, and according to South Carolina law, a person convicted of murder is not eligible for parole. Samantha's mother, Marcy, gave a victim statement saying in part, "I close my eyes and I feel what she endured at his hands." 120 times, over and over and over, fighting for her life, locked in his car. In the next call, another university student goes through her own kidnapping ordeal. When 20-year-old Skylar Williams arrived at the Ohio State University campus in February 2019, she presumed that the protection orders she had in place would be enough to keep her safe. But sadly, she was wrong.
I'm calling 911.
State Patrol, dispatch put-ups.
Hi, someone just kidnapped a girl on campus with a gun.
Holy crap. On campus?
Yes, on campus, in the parking lot.
Where at?
In the parking lot on campus.
Which parking lot?
Parking lot 2.
Parking lot 2?
They're already gone. They stole her. They put her in a car and pointed a gun.
Okay, were they driving a...
Red Dodge Challenger. I didn't get the license plate. A Florida license plate. It had a star with an S. I don't know if that means anything to you.
Okay.
It started with an S.
Which way did they exit? Did they exit towards 39 or did they exit towards...
Yeah, what's that way? I don't know. They went towards, Ontario.
Okay.
Skylar Williams had multiple protection orders against her ex-boyfriend, Tyrell Pounds. The two had a child together, and in October 2018, they were going through a custody battle. In January 2019, Mansfield police received a report from Williams saying that Pounds had pulled up behind her in a car while at a gas station. She asked police to make a note, as she said Pounds had a protection order against her. It would later come to light that she had also laid an order against him. On February 11, 2019, at 11:45 a.m., Pounds forced the 20-year-old into a vehicle while she was at the OSU Mansfield campus. The man who witnessed and tried to stop the abduction spoke to NBC4.
And then I actually heard her start screaming. I heard a female voice start screaming. She said, "Help, help, somebody please help me." So I turned around and started speed walking that way just to make sure I heard what I heard. Then she screamed for help again, and I just took off running. He had her in one of his hands, and then he had a gun in his other hand. Like I said, I was about 20 feet away. He's holding her. He has her by the back of her coat, so her face was covered, so I couldn't see her face, but I could see his face. And how I've been describing it to other people is like the eye of the tiger. Like he was in the zone. He knew what he was doing, and he was not going to let anybody stop him. So at that point, I'm probably 20 feet away from him, and that's when I see them come out. And then I'm basically sprinting towards them, so I took another step, and I'm probably about 15 feet away. And then he points the gun at me, and he points it at my chest, and he says, "Don't try it, bro." And then I'd taken another step, so I'm about 10 feet away at this point, and I slow down as much as I can, and I basically just jump behind. I put my hands up, and I jump behind a car. I really couldn't do anything because he has a gun. The only thing I could do at that point was just watch him get her into the car and jump in and drive away.
Around midday, Pounds returned to his apartment and tried to barge into the bathroom where his roommate was taking a shower, demanding his car keys and a cell phone. The roommate told police that he was not himself and he was armed. Williams was crying, but she seemed unharmed. 3.5 hours later, the witness at a gas station in Gallatin County, Kentucky, called 911. After that, troopers soon located the vehicle on Interstate 71 heading southbound. The van wouldn't stop when a trooper tried to pull it over. A 20-mile pursuit started until Pounds was finally stopped around 4 p.m. A trooper heard a gunshot come from within the vehicle, leading him to pull out his gun and fire. Pounds died at the scene. Williams was taken to the University of Louisville Hospital, where she died. Initially, it was thought that a trooper shot the 20-year-old mother, but investigations revealed that her abductor had shot her in the arm and penetrated her side. In the next call, the abductor may have presumed his victim was too small to fight him off, but he was wrong. When a kidnapper tried to grab a brave 7-year-old girl, he didn't expect her to fight back.
Yes, County Communications.
Yes, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm good. How can I help you?
Can I get a unit to, nearest address is, it's the trailer behind me.
Okay, so you're at
That's the nearest address. I have, what it is, I have an incident that happened earlier, and I just got in from work. I would, like to talk to the officer.
Okay, about what?
A gentleman grabbed my dog. Here, hold on. No, you were here to talk to him.
Hi.
Yes, how can I help you?
I had an incident earlier. I can't find this guy. I don't know if he was just in the house behind me. It's abandoned. But he had grabbed my 7-year-old and took her in the house and tried to do something with her. And she managed to pick him and got away and come home. But this guy, we can't find him at all now. But I need to make a report in case he does come back.
Okay, where did this happen at?
The trailer behind me.
Okay, where are you at?
My house is over it. Mine's the one in front of it.
And it's the trailer right behind you?
Yes, it's an abandoned one.
Do you know the guy's name?
I don't, but she can describe him very well.
Okay, what does he look like?
Hold on a minute. Let me go.
Hello.
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 My phone.
Take the phone, put it here. Hello.
Hello. Yes, can you tell me what he looked like?
He looked like he had a beard and he was skinny.
Okay, was he white, black? Was he white or black?
He was white. You want to know what he said?
I want to know what color and type of clothes he had on, if you remember.
He had one shirt and a gray shorts.
Orange shirt and gray shorts. Was he tall or short?
He was tall.
You said he was skinny?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did he say?
Nice.
You remember what he said?
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
He said that if I told anybody, then he was gonna take me from my mama and kill me.
On July 20th, 2019, the 7-year-old girl was playing in her own front yard in Gaston County when the stranger in an orange shirt approached her and tried to hit her. When another child heard the little girl scream, they ran for help. But the brave child would not be taken away that easily. She kicked the kidnapper in the groin and ran away. A person fitting the description was captured on surveillance video at a convenience store on Dallas-Cherryville Highway, which is not far from where the alleged attempted kidnapping happened, about 30 minutes before the attempted abduction. However, he was cleared of any involvement. Whether or not police found the real suspect is unknown. The child's proud stepfather said he wasn't around when the abduction attempt took place, but he knows his stepdaughter fought back. He told a news outlet she kicked him and she hauled rear end. That's about as much as I can tell you because I was not present at the time. I love her to death. She's a hero. She's my hero. She is my hero through and through. The stepfather said the child did what she had been taught to do. When a businessman goes missing from a restaurant one Wednesday afternoon, police found themselves at a gruesome crime scene. This 911 call revealed chilling new details in the kidnapping and murder of a Brownsville man.
Brownsville Police, this is Jamie. How can I help you?
Yeah, I'm in an address here in Military, and there's a guy who came in with guns and stole everything. I'm at a...
Okay, ma'am. What did he have? What was he wearing, ma'am?
They were all illegal aliens, and they took a truck, a Tahoe. They stole one of the Tahoes from here, a white Tahoe, a Chevy Tahoe. Guess it's Chevy. and they were all illegals. And they had.
How do you know they were all illegals, ma'am? How many subjects were they?
Hold on. Hello, I need an officer over here immediately to.
Ma'am, yes. Did they have
my husband? They took my husband. What else do you want me to say?
They took your husband? Why did they take your husband?
I don't know, man. They only took him.
What's your husband? Es un secuestro, kidnapping.
Me rompieron las cámaras y todo.
Give me your husband's name.
Reyes Bocanegra.
Reyes Bocanegra? Do you know why?
No sé, yo no sé, nomás mándame una oficial para acá porque nos amarraron a todos.
Los amarraron a todos? They took a white Tahoe and they took her husband. Did they have assault right? ¿Cuántos eran?
They're going para Matamoros, me pongan.
They're going towards Matamoros. They're going to go to Matamoros.
De Fuerte. Se van a ir al puente de Reynosa.
¿De Reynosa?
Sí. So y'all better get someone here immediately, ma'am, because my husband has his phone and it's a Sprint phone and you can locate it.
That the male subject has a Sprint phone. Ma'am, if you have all this information, did you know the man?
No, ma'am. I don't know him.
Well, if you have all this information, how do you give me your name?
It's Gloria Barrera. And my workers are already leaving because they're scared of everything. And I don't have a car. They took everything, ma'am. Se llevaron llaves, se llevaron todo, ma'am.
Okay. ¿Usted sabía quién eran los hombres?
¿Vale? Eran bastante huérfanos, ma'am. Yo no les puedo decir nada ahorita.
Okay, thank you.
The call was made just minutes after 22-year-old Reyes Gilberto Bocanegra was kidnapped at gunpoint in the early afternoon. It all happened at the Mariscos Playa Azul seafood restaurant off Military Highway in July 2012. A woman who identified herself as Bocanegra's wife said the gunman stormed the restaurant, tied everyone up, and smashed their video surveillance equipment. When authorities found Bocanegra's SUV, his body was in the back seat. The 22-year-old had been shot execution style. Since the victim had a lengthy criminal record with a history of narcotics and alien smuggling, investigators believed the hit was drug-related. For more true 911 calls, watch this episode next. You can also let me know which call was your favorite in the comments below.